just an old truth teller. I'm your candid friend. I'm not some daydream seller. I do not pretend.
Hey everybody, how are you doing? It is Monday, June 22nd, 2020. Hot day. The weather is hot. It's going to get hotter because it's June going into July, which goes in August, and all that's hot. So, what's going on with you guys? What's new with you? A couple things going on in the world. Statues coming down all over. People have disbelief about that, mixed emotions about it. I don't know where I am on that. Some of it I agree with it, some I don't agree with it, but some of it is, and you have to keep in mind that with these things that everything changes. Everything changes. And part of the problem with getting older is that you don't accept the changes easily because you grew up in a different world. And there is right and there's wrong, but it changes over time as we evolve. And one of the things I try and use when I'm discussing things with somebody is I try and see it through the perspective of the other person so that I don't see their argument as evil. I see their argument as a projection of their perspective, which is based on their experience. That's not evil. Put yourself in their mindset for a second. Some people are just horrible, evil people, but some people are just seeing things through a different perspective. And that leads to have civil discourse with them and communicate a different perspective to them. And hopefully everybody comes away better. People don't do that anymore. They just fight. They just want to fight. They have to rip each other up. I can't be right and you be right. I have to be right, so you have to be wrong. Or you have to be right and I have to be wrong. So it's this horrible system that isn't working. And we need to change it. It, along with everything else, needs to change. Well, the statue ripped down from the New York Museum entrance, the Theodore Roosevelt statue that was coming down. I know it's come down, but this was something that people have had a problem with for years. So things are coming to a head, and it's all happening at once. But none of this is new. That's what nobody's saying in the regular mainstream pants not wearing media. By the way, it is National No Underwear Day. I think it's technically National No Panty Day, but I'm saying no underwear, so it's not sexist, even though down south they call panties or what they use for underwear on men, at least according to Ned Beatty in Deliverance. So that's my source on that. But it's National No Underwear Day. I encourage people with appropriate body styles to celebrate people with not appropriate body styles. You can celebrate too, but don't yell at people for wincing. I will not be celebrating, as I'm putting myself in a not appropriate category, but I encourage a celebration. This is where I encourage the younger generation: celebrate your made-up day. We have a million of them. Nursing homes reopening to visitors, hospitals reopening to visitors. We really got to shore that up so that when we go into hospitals, when we go into nursing homes, when we go into prisons, when we go into places that have a confined population, they are in effect sterile or protected. We are bringing the problem to them. So let's not do that. Let's make sure that we go in and practice, because once it gets in there, it's just going to contaminate, as it's proven, and it's going to become a murder factory. Or a death factory, not a murder factory. They just saw the biggest spike worldwide in corona this past weekend, which is probably a result of a mix of things from the Memorial Day weekend, when people started to go out, people going out more, the protests, the riots. That's all adding up into this giant spike. And that's not good. This thing is still out there. It's still dangerous. It's still going to kill people, come back and hit us harder. We have to make sure it doesn't overwhelm the system. One of the things that they didn't say about the reason for social distancing, masking, all that things, one of the things they didn't explain clearly is that it's not that they expect that to stop it. It's to minimize the wave that goes into overflow the hospitals. The hospitals can handle a reasonable number, but if we get hit with a wave that overwhelms the hospitals, people could just be dying in waiting rooms. They're going to be dying in their homes, and they're not going to be able to get the help. That is the reason that you need to practice social distancing and wearing masks. I was out this past weekend, and I passed 2 street fairs. I didn't see a single person wearing a mask. And that I don't have a total problem with. I do have a total problem with no mask and social distancing. And the people that go hug crazy are now hugging again. And that needs to stop. Just, that's my personal opinion. I'm just not a hugger, and the hug people are starved to hug, so they're charging you because they want that hug. They're just starved to hug. No hugging. This is a no hug zone. No hug. That'll be my symbol for no hug. No hug. There we go. No hug. It's a giant X, which is, or people go, oh, you made a symbol for hugging. You want to get hugged? No. That's the no hug symbol. That's choking, by the way, but the lower one is no hug. Let's not pretend this is over. Let's not use that fake optimism and let ourselves get distracted and think that we've resolved it. We haven't resolved anything. We've just put it in the background for a short period of time. I'm going to do a separate video about another thing. I don't want to jam up this thing with it, but people seem to be etching back to normal, but I really fear that they'll get trumped down. I got a bunch of good feedback about the PTSD show. If you haven't seen it, look at that. That'd be great. It should be the episode before this if things are in order. We're going to been talking with some people about doing a late night thing for the night crowd. I'm a night guy, so doing a late night thing and seeing how that goes. Other than that, I don't have a lot, and I haven't. I guess people are outside enjoying the day where they should be. It is a little toasty out there. It's okay in the shade, but there's not a lot of shade everywhere. And there was something I'm forgetting. So maybe we can have a second of quiet meditation together while I remember, if it comes back to me. It is not coming. But while it doesn't come, there is something I do want to say. During first months of this, we lost 119,000 people in this country to this virus. The difference between this and the flu is it mutates differently. It is much more aggressive and ultimately deadlier. We've lost pharmacists, we've lost police officers, we've lost nurses, we've lost package handlers, we've lost store workers, we've lost, transit workers have just been hit. We've lost so many different occupations. I always hate mentioning them because I know I'm going to forget some. It doesn't mean I'm not thinking about them. It's overwhelming my head right now. We put up the signs that heroes work here. Don't put up a sign. Give them more money. Don't put up a sign. Give them some more time off. Bring in stress counseling. Do it ahead of time. Mitigate the problems. These people have been working their butts off. People were going in and do their same jobs that didn't sign up to be a hero, that didn't sign up to lose their life. Transit workers. I had a buddy who's a transit worker. He did it because he liked people but didn't want to deal with them in long spurts. Enjoyed the city driving around. Perfect job. At no point did he sign up to be a hero. At no point did he sign to be able to front left the front of a battle, and hurt and jeopardize his health. No one did. So keep these people in your minds when you're thinking about the totality of this. It's not just the guys that are out there in uniforms that have badges and fire axes and dogs and fly planes and all this stuff. The backbone is something we don't talk about. And the backbone of this country has always been a frontline worker that makes it possible for the people that we have the parades for to get to the places, to do the jobs that we have the parades for, to get to work, to sustain themselves. You take any link out of the system and we're done. And that, if nothing else, should serve you as proof that we are all in this together. We're not all in it separately. We're in it together. So take that, put it in your pipe and smoke it. And I'll see you later.